let it hang, hang. Hang.
Welcome to today's program, that is World Ozone Day. So every year we celebrate this 16th September as World Ozone Day. You are most welcome to my classroom, that is BVR Sir classroom. Our focus will be on depletion of ozone layer causes and cures. So at the top you can see this picture. If you observe this picture, I am trying to express something, or I want to discuss something with you regarding this ozone layer, its depletion, effects, etc. etc. I am B. Venkatraw, working as lecturer in chemistry since the last 29 years. I am seriously involved in teaching chemistry, and this is my YouTube channel, that is BVR Sir Classroom. I request you to subscribe to this BVR Sir Classroom YouTube channel at the earliest. Let us start like this. This is our earth, and this is in the form of umbrella. And this umbrella is nothing but this is the protection provided by ozone layer on the earth surface, that is stratosphere. So our focus will be on this umbrella, that is which is giving protection to our earth. The World Ozone Day offers an opportunity to focus global attention and action on this vital environmental issue. That is the core thing which we will be discussing in today's class. Then what is the significance of this September 16? Why it is September 16? Why not some other day? The United Nations General Assembly on this 23rd January 1995 adopted a resolution according to which the 16th September as the World Ozone Day, commemorating the date on which Montreal Protocol on Substances that Deplete the Ozone Layer was signed in 1987. So that is the significance of September 16th. And on this September 16th every year, we once again commit ourselves regarding the protection of ozone layer, which is protecting us. Okay, what is the aim? What is the aim of this Montreal Protocol, or what is the aim of our gathering, or purpose of our gathering? The principal aim of the Montreal Protocol is to protect the ozone layer by taking certain measures to control total global production and consumption of substances that deplete it. Step by step, I will be discussing regarding what are the implications of depletion of this ozone layer, etc. etc. The ultimate objective, what is the thing which we are going to get after carrying out all these measures? The ultimate objective is their elimination on the basis of developments in scientific knowledge and technological information. That is the thing. What is important here is we want comforts. We are accustomed to certain types of these comforts. So we can't give away all the comforts, but what we can do is we can carry out some research work so that scientific developments lead to a better protection of environment. That thing we will be focusing in this lecture. Today is 16th September 2021, and that is World Ozone Day. What is the theme of this World Ozone Day? This year's theme is Montreal Protocol, keeping us, our food and vaccines cool. If anybody is interested in preparing for MSc entrance type of examination, then they have to remember this theme of World Ozone Day 2021. I am repeating, what is the theme? Montreal Protocol, keeping us, our food and vaccines cool. So this is the symbol given by United Nations themselves. Okay, once again, the theme for the celebration of this year's World Ozone Day is to follow this Montreal Protocol, keeping us, our food and vaccines cool. Already this is a repetition. This year's World Ozone Day seeks to highlight some important points. That is, Montreal Protocol does so much regarding the elimination of gases or substances which are causing the depletion of ozone layer. So this United Nations is doing utmost satisfactory work regarding the elimination of gases which is causing depletion of ozone layer. Let us start like this. The ozone hole. Actually, we are going into the topic which we are supposed to discuss today. The ozone hole. In the 1980s, atmospheric scientists working in Antarctica region reported about depletion of ozone layer, commonly known as the ozone hole, that too over the South Pole. So, this entire episode started in the 80s itself. Since then, we have done a lot of things regarding the prevention of depletion of ozone layer further. Then, I will try to explain step by step formation and depletion of ozone layer, how this ozone layer is formed and how this ozone layer is getting depleted, then what are the measures that are required for protecting, preserving our ozone layer, not only for ourselves, but also for the generations to come. This is the reasons of the atmosphere. I hope you are able to see this clearly. This is the area I am showing you with the cursor. This is the area on the surface we are living, and this area is lithosphere. And up to about 10 or 11 kilometers from the surface of the earth, mean sea level, the troposphere is the area. This is the troposphere. And above that, up to say above 50 kilometers, the region is called as stratosphere. And after stratosphere, we are having mesosphere, after that ionosphere, etc. etc. But as far as today's discussion is concerned, this area is important for us, that is stratosphere. And in this stratosphere, the ozone layer is present, which is acting as an umbrella of protection for the creatures on the Earth's surface. Okay, so you are able to catch this point. So our main focus will be on this ozone layer, which is present in the stratosphere region. Okay, ozone present in the upper stratosphere protects us from the harmful UV radiations. Okay, which harmful radiations means the wavelength of those radiations are about 255 nanometers. They cause a disease called as melanoma. That is the serious aspect of these UV radiations which are emanating from the outer space. And that melanoma is nothing but skin cancer. It is caused in the human beings. Hence, it is important to maintain the ozone shield. If we want to survive, we have to protect the ozone layer. That's it. So without this ozone layer, it will not at all be possible for our survival on the Earth. So each and every human being has utmost responsibility to protect the environment in general and ozone layer in particular. Then how this ozone is formed in the stratosphere region. In the stratosphere region, ozone is formed by the action of ultraviolet radiations on dioxygen molecules, that is O2 molecules. So I am starting like this. First of all, how this ozone is formed. Then after that, how this ozone is getting depleted and how this ozone hole is formed. Then what are the measures that are to be adopted in order to prevent this ozone hole formation. So how this ozone is being formed in the stratosphere region? By the action of ultraviolet radiations on the dioxygen molecules, that is O2 molecules. The UV radiations split apart molecular oxygen into free oxygen atoms. That is, O2 is getting split into O plus O. These oxygen atoms combine with the molecular oxygen to form ozone. So this is the basic concept or reaction involved in formation of ozone. You observe this reaction. I hope most of you are chemistry students. Then you won't feel any difficulty or hesitation to learn these equations. O2 in the form of gas, when ultraviolet radiations are allowed to fall on this oxygen molecule, it gets split into oxygen atoms, O gas plus O gas. Now, this O gas combines with O2 gas, that is again dioxygen molecule, resulting in the formation of ozone, and this particular reaction occurs in the stratosphere region, and it is due to ultraviolet radiations. Okay. However, there is another side for this formation of ozone also, that is depletion or destruction of ozone formation. In recent years, there have been reports of the depletion of this protective ozone layer because of the presence of certain chemicals like chlorofluorocarbon compounds. They are commonly called as CFCs. We are completely accustomed to usage of chlorofluorocarbons. I will explain where we are using chlorofluorocarbons, what is the nature of that chlorofluorocarbons, how it is affecting our beloved ozone layer and all those things in due course of time. So these CFCs, also known as prions, they are entering into this stratosphere and causing the depletion in ozone layer. These CFCs are very advantageous to the industry. That means boon to industry but bane to environment. Why it is like that? Why it is boon to industry means? Boon to industry means indirectly we are getting so much of help or so much of comfort from these types of substances, that is chlorofluorocarbons. Why? Why these organic molecules are so prominent, or why we are giving that much of importance to the manufacture and usage of chlorofluorocarbon means, observe this one, they are non-reactive. That means they are highly stable molecules. They are non-flammable, they won't catch fire. Similarly, they are non-toxic organic molecules. These are some of the advantageous side of chlorofluorocarbons and therefore used in refrigerators. So it is a household term nowadays. Without a refrigerator, there won't be a house like that. Air conditioners. People are very much accustomed to usage of air conditioners because due to the, again, a similar type of cause, that is global warming. Global warming is, that is temperature of the earth, especially during summer, is increasing. Therefore, people are making use of air conditioners. When people are making use of air conditioners, it is inevitable to compulsorily maintain or produce these chlorofluorocarbons. Similarly, in the production of plastic foam, okay, and by the electronic industry for cleaning computer parts, etc., etc., these are only a few number of applications of chlorofluorocarbons. That's why we are not in a position to straight away ban chlorofluorocarbons. We can slowly phase out the usage of chlorofluorocarbons, but not completely get rid of usage of chlorofluorocarbons. Okay, so we'll continue like that. Once chlorofluorocarbons are released in the atmosphere, they mix with the normal atmospheric gases. That property is important. They have the ability to intermingle with ordinary gases, and eventually they reach the stratosphere, that is upper layers of the atmosphere. In the stratosphere, they get broken down by powerful UV radiations releasing chlorine free radical. So, which substance is acting as culprit for the depletion of this ozone layer is, it is none other than chlorine free radical, and this chlorine free radical is generated from chlorofluorocarbon by this splitting process, and that splitting process occurs in presence of ultraviolet radiations, that is UV radiations. This is the basic reaction. CF2Cl2 gas in presence of ultraviolet radiation, that gives rise to chlorine free radical along with this CF2Cl free radical. So this is the starting point which is causing destruction of ozone layer. Then the chlorine radical then react with stratospheric ozone to form chlorine monoxide radicals and molecular oxygen. In the next stage, chlorine monoxide molecule is formed and oxygen is liberated. You observe this one, chlorine free radical. It is formed in this first step that combines with ozone. This ozone gets converted into oxygen. That means here the ozone depletion has started. Ozone gets converted into oxygen. In this way, the concentration of ozone in the stratospheric region gradually diminished during the 80s. Of course, there is some improvement in the present era. Next, the reaction of chlorine monoxide radical with atomic oxygen produces more chlorine radicals. Observe this one, ClO free radical, chlorine monoxide free radical. It combines with oxygen, that is a single atom, gives rise to again chlorine free radical is formed, along with that oxygen molecule is liberated. That means again and again that chlorine free radical is released into the system. Therefore, it acts as a chain reaction. There is one saying, one chlorine free radical, or in other words, one molecule of chlorofluorocarbon can react with nearly 1 million of ozone molecules. That means they can destruct at least 1 million of this ozone molecule. That is the impact of this chlorofluorocarbon. Very powerful reagent. Chlorine radicals are continuously regenerated and cause the breakdown of ozone. Just now I told you it is a chain reaction. Okay, since it is a chain reaction, number of ozone molecules are getting converted into oxygen atoms. Ultimately, what is the problem? We are, that is human beings, are directly getting affected due to this depletion of ozone layer. Thus, CFCs are transporting agents for continuously generating chlorine radicals into the stratosphere and damaging the ozone layer. So, this is the basic thing, and ultimately we are the sufferers. Then what we have to do? So, this is the entire process, that is chlorofluorocarbon converting ozone molecule into oxygen atoms. You observe this picture. I hope you will appreciate the work done for this purpose. Ozone molecule O3, it is allowed to interact with chlorine, that is Cl, in the form of free radical. The Cl is obtained from chlorofluorocarbon. Then what happens is, observe this one, oxygen molecule is formed, along with that chlorine monoxide is formed. Now this chlorine monoxide, which is formed in this particular reaction, is allowed to interact with oxygen. Then what happens is, once again chlorine free radical will be formed. Along with that, this single oxygen is converted into oxygen molecule. Whatever it may be, what is the net reaction or overall reaction? Cl plus O3 gives rise to ClO plus O2. ClO plus O gives rise to Cl plus O2. Whatever may be the process, whatever may be the nature of reaction, ultimately what is happening? O3 is getting converted into oxygen molecule. That means ozone layer is getting depleted. This is the basic reaction for that reaction which is happening in the stratospheric region. Then, okay, I explained you regarding the chemical aspects of this ozone layer depression. Then, what is the problem? What are the effects? In what way the mankind will get affected or environment get affected? Effects of depletion of ozone layer. There is possibility of more UV radiations filtering into the troposphere. Then what? More and more UV radiations are getting filtered into troposphere. So it has a direct and indirect effect on the environment. Okay, we will be severely impacted due to this ultraviolet radiations. UV radiations lead to aging of the skin. Mainly skin diseases will be caused due to ultraviolet radiations. Cataract. Cataract is associated with diseases of eyes. Sunburn. Similarly, skin cancer. One of the major reason for this skin cancer is this ultraviolet radiation. Similarly, killing of many phytoplanktons, that is microplants, which thrive in ponds and lakes. They will get affected. They will die. Damage to fish productivity. The fish productivity will drastically decrease. It affects the ecosystem balance. That means indirectly, sustainable development will be under threat due to this type of processes. So sustainable development is very, very important for our existence. Not only our existence, for the future generations also, this is very, very important. Plant proteins get easily affected by UV radiations, which leads to the harmful mutation of cells. Mutations of cells are very, very dangerous because unwanted new creatures will be generated in the Earth's surface. They will directly influence the sustainable development process. There should not be unwanted mutations in the cells. That must be controlled. Otherwise, it will be a severe threat to mankind. It also increases evaporation of surface water through the stomata of leaves and decreases the moisture content of the soil. So it may not have a direct effect, but ultimately in due course of time there will be a depletion of moisture content in the soil. Increase in UV radiations damage paints and fibers, causing them to fade faster. This is directly related with the polymer chemistry subject. Polymer chemistry, polymer science, you know polymers, what is the significance of polymers and all those things. So as far as these polymers are concerned, they get directly affected due to this enhanced release of ultraviolet radiations onto their surface. Okay. Similarly, last one not the least, the UV radiation can upset the heat balance of the Earth. What happens if the heat balance of the Earth is affected? This diagram very clearly explains the situation. When temperature increases, this is ice plate. When this ice plate gradually melts, what happens? There is possibility of submersion of different continents or different areas on the Earth. So this is a severe effect. So these are some of the effects which are expected or causing on the Earth's surface due to depletion of ozone layer and the entry of unwanted ultraviolet radiations onto the surface. Okay. So already we discussed how this ozone layer is getting depleted, and after that what are the direct and indirect effects of ozone layer depletion, then what is the cure? How to repair the damage which has already taken place. We are chemistry students, including myself. Since we are chemistry people, we have to search the alternative because we are the people who introduced chlorofluorocarbons into the industry. Now it is our turn to solve that process which has become a menace. The chlorofluorocarbons, they have become menace and they are causing this type of headache to our society. So again, the onus lies on our people, ourselves. So is it green chemistry which is able to find out a solution? Yes, of course. Green chemistry, that is why we have given the name for that. Green chemistry can be a ultimate solution, not only for getting rid of depletion of ozone layer, for all type of environmental problems. This can be a great panacea. Okay, we will see what is this green chemistry and other things. The solution for this problem does not lie in stopping the process of development that has been set up. Already I told you this point. We need not give up our comforts because science is for making our life more comfortable. Okay, so we cannot go back as far as development is concerned. Then what is the point is we have to bring out some method so that there is sustainable development is there, not only for today, for generations to come. Okay, we need not get rid of development process. We need not go back to the old days or something, whatever it may be. So the solution for this problem does not lie in stopping the process of development that has been set in, but to discover methods. Our responsibility is not to spoil environment. Then what we have to do, we ourselves, being a chemistry people, we have to find out some methods which would help in the reduction of deterioration of the environment. That is our responsibility. So please don't say that we have to stop using refrigerators, we have to stop using air conditioners and all those things. We have to use all those things. We have to make our lives more comfortable. At the same time, what we have to do is we have to find out methods, discover techniques which can get rid of deteriorating the environment. That can be achieved through green chemistry, I hope. Green chemistry is a way of thinking and is about utilizing the existing knowledge and principles of chemistry and other sciences to reduce the adverse impact on environment. Green chemistry is a production process that would bring about minimum pollution or deterioration to the environment. So basing on these principles, we have to try to generate solution for these type of problems. Then, what are the developments so far done as far as getting rid of this depletion of ozone layer? So world over, so much of research is being done and it is continuing. And in this aspect, we Indians, on behalf of this United Nations, are doing commendable work. Environmental deterioration is concerned, that is development of alternatives as far as chlorofluorocarbons are concerned. I'll explain one by one. I'll give the solution and also present picture. Work on alternatives for chlorofluorocarbons in refrigerants began in the late 1980s itself, after the first warnings of damage to stratospheric ozone were published. Okay, so immediately after knowing that something is going to happen which is catastrophic for the environment, immediately chemistry people and also other scientists, they started finding out solution for getting rid of this menace. For example, instead of chlorofluorocarbons, people started using hydrochlorofluorocarbons. They are abbreviated as HCFCs. What is important regarding this is they are less stable in lower atmosphere. When compared with chlorofluorocarbons, HCFCs are less stable. That means the life of these substances is less when compared with chlorofluorocarbon. Then what happens? There is no accumulation of these substances in the atmosphere so that they can migrate to stratospheric region in due course of time. So in that way, to some extent, we were able to decrease the intensity of the bad effects of these substances, chemical particles on ozone layer. Okay, enabling them to break down before reaching the ozone layer. The latter alternatives lacking the chlorine. Next development is we were able to get rid of chlorine. It is a beautiful development because which is the causative, main responsible or causative substance for depletion of ozone layer? It is none other than the chlorine free radical. Now scientists have developed alternative in the form of substances which doesn't have this chlorine at all. So that is a great development. The hydrochlorocarbon, HFCs, have an even shorter lifetimes in the lower atmosphere. In that way, we were able to get rid of chlorine. That is very, very important development. Similarly, after that, step by step, we are very, very hard working regarding preservation of this environment. For that purpose, hydrocarbon refrigerants are in vogue. Nowadays, it has become very simple. The process has become very simple. Almost we are out of the usage of this chlorine, which is causing the main headache to this ozone layer. Hydrocarbon refrigerants in the form of propane, isobutane blend were also used extensively in mobile air conditioning systems in Australia, the United States, and many other developed countries. Developed countries, here one important point is there. Who are the main responsible people for this depletion of ozone layer or some other environmental effect? It is not India, or it is not some other poor country or some other developing country. This menace is due to the countries which are described as developed countries. So developed countries are the countries which are responsible for this type of environmental deterioration. Hence, they have to come forward and find out a solution to this. But unfortunately, you know what they are saying. We are already accustomed to this type of comforts, so they are not in a position to give up our comforts. Since you people like Indians and some other developing nations people, you are not at all accustomed to comforts, so better don't start enjoying comforts. That is the point they are raising. Is it fair, students? To me, it is not at all fair, because today we are a developing country. Okay, tomorrow definitely we will be considered as a developed nation or developed economy or developed country. Developed country means its subjects, that is citizens, enjoying more comforts. So that is called as development. What the Western people are saying, no, you are not supposed to come into the developed sector. No, not at all. Forever you should be underdeveloped or developing. What I am expecting is, this is not fair. The people of Western countries, we are putting out a challenge, and the ultimate result of that challenge is we will be placed as developed citizens on par with you with solution to preserve our great environment. So this is the point I would like to raise in front of you. I hope you people will support me in this aspect. Okay, here Western countries are doing something, whatever it may be, but we are doing a lot of things regarding the preservation of our environment. 1,1-dichloro-1-chloroethane HCFC 141B has replaced HFC 134A. These are some technical aspects due to its low ODP values. ODP means ozone depleting percentage values like that. And according to the Montreal Protocol, these also should be phased out completely and replaced with zero ODP substances such as cyclopentane, HFOs before January 2020. Okay, the process is going on. We don't have 100% reports till now. So before January 2020, they have to get rid of these substances which are causing damage to ozone layer. Among the natural refrigerants, better to use natural refrigerants like ammonia, carbon dioxide. They also bring about cooling process very comfortably and very easily, cheaply also. But technology has to develop. Hydrocarbons have negligible environmental impacts and are also used worldwide in domestic and commercial refrigeration applications and are becoming available in new split air conditioners. In the present day split air conditioners, what this para is saying that instead of chlorofluorocarbons, they are making use of natural refrigerants. Natural refrigerants like ammonia, carbon dioxide, hydrocarbons. These substances are not at all polluting to the environment. So we must think ourselves and encourage this type of transformation. But one thing, technology won't come cheap. That's why they are branding 3-star ACs, 4-star ACs, 5-star ACs. By branding 5-star AC, they will charge extra. Why they are charging extra means they may be using substance which is environment friendly like this ammonia, carbon dioxide. Here we have mentioned about hydrocarbons like that. That may be the reason that we have to check with the respective technicians. Various other solvents and methods have been replaced use of CFCs in industries. So almost as far as development is concerned, we are in a position to get rid of that chlorofluorocarbons, and comfortably we are making use of these substances which are not at all causing pollution to the environment. But that is under development stage. Don't think that entirely chlorofluorocarbons have been phased out. We are planning, we are moving in that direction, we are discussing in that direction to phase out usage of chlorofluorocarbons. It will take some time. What Indians are doing in this direction? India is a party to Vienna Convention. Whenever there is problem to environment, the first person to raise hand to devote full time for the protection of environment is none other than our beloved country, that is India. Okay, so we are party to Vienna Convention since the beginning itself for the protection of ozone layer and the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer and all its amendments. India has been successfully implementing the phase-out program of ozone depleting substances in the country. India is now phasing out the next category of chemicals, hydrochlorofluorocarbons. We are in that stage, that is HCFCs, as per the schedule of the Montreal Protocol, and has already met the 215 and 220 phase-out targets. We are on target. We are not behind. We are on target. Okay, as we promised to the United Nations, we have successfully phased out the usage of those substances which are causing harm to the environment. The complete phase out of production and consumption of HCFCs will be by 2030. That is the challenge or target we are fixing for ourselves. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has developed and launched the India Cooling Action Plan (ICAP) during 2019, which is in line with the theme of the World Ozone Day 2021. Actually, way ahead, we are finding out solution to this environmental problem. The ICAP aims to provide an integrated vision towards cooling across sectors, including space cooling in buildings and reducing cooling demand, refrigerant transitions, enhancing energy efficiency, and better technology options with a 20-year time horizon. That means we are doing our level best. In due course of time, I hope the efforts being done by ourselves, that is Indians, will be well appreciated by the Western people also. Okay, I have given my brief presentation to you. Whatever I know, I place it in front of you. Then, being responsible people of the society, what we have to do, what should be our commitment? The awareness among the stakeholders, that is including you and me, including industries and general public, play a vital role in phase out of ODS and protection of the ozone layer. So ultimately, that is the responsibility of each and every citizen who are enjoying the comforts. So we have to preserve this environment for the future generations also. Just like as we are enjoying, let our successors also enjoy this comforts of technology. Okay, I hope you people are connected with me in this regard. Ultimately, what I would like to say is, for life on Earth, protect the ozone layer and prevent climate change. So if we want to live and if we want to make others live, we have to protect the ozone layer. Happy World Ozone Day, that is September 16. I hope you people enjoyed my lecture. Okay, what is a small request is, we are maintaining a YouTube channel. I would like to have direct interaction with you in due course of time. For that purpose, please subscribe to my channel, BVRSR Classroom. If you want to further discuss anything about this or these type of topics, about 200 videos are available as far as chemistry subject is concerned in this BVRSR Classroom channel. Please visit the channel, subscribe, and if you like, make use of that. So, thank you very much, all of you, for giving me this wonderful opportunity.